Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a guy known for being a protector, everybody's big brother or cool dad, and most importantly, an action movie star. He's shown his locomotive power by beating up armies of bad guys. He's leaped off tall buildings in a single bound. He's demonstrated his speed in the Fast and Furious franchise. In his movies, he's done everything except fly. Well, all of that is about to change. Except that while this time he can fly, he's not exactly a hero. He's his own thing. He's Black Adam. I'm Ronald Young Jr., and I'm leaving the theater. Check, check. Check, this is Ronald. Check, this is Ronald. Check, you're looking at the street, right?
Yeah.
All right, because I was looking down. Check, this is Ronald. And I am leaving the theater after seeing Black Adam, African American Adam. Black Adam starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Nope. Written by Adam, man, I should have looked up the pronunciation of this name. Adam S., Rory Haines, Sohrab, Noshirvani. Directed by Jaume, Collet, Serra. Starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Aldis, Hodge, Noah, Cinteneo, Shahi, Quintessa, Swindell, Brosnan, and Mohammed, Amer. For full cast listing, check out our link in our show notes. I am not here by myself. I am here with
Diana Veiga. Hello.
It seems like DC has been trying to fight back for years now to be as good as Marvel. DC has been trying to catch up to Marvel, who keeps eating their lunch, movie after movie, series after series, over and over again. It's like there's nothing they can really do to catch up.
And this ain't gonna get it.
Okay. Well, in this movie, The Rock, who championed this movie for a long time, plays African-American Adam, who is from a fictional city of Kahndaq. He's the protector, and the Shazam wizards endow him with power, and he is meant to be the champion of Kahndaq, but he actually kills people, which becomes a bone of contention between him and the Justice Society, not the Justice League. But like the Walmart. Diana, what did you think of the movie?
You
We can stay in here.
Oh, I'm not a superhero movie aficionado, so I thought it was okay. It wasn't great. It was, wait a minute. Eye candy wise, amazing. The Rock, Aldis Hodge, and Brosnan looking like a zaddy. Storyline though, could use some work.
I agree. I think the movie was, we could walk this way. I just knew that you weren't going to be able to stand still, and I would do you be able to walk and talk into the bike at a normal rate so we could walk down here to the water. I agree. I think this movie was just okay. What, are you okay? Okay, there are rats. We're in D.C., near Georgetown, where there are a lot of rats. But look at us get a nice little view. No, we're going to stand. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I would say this movie was mid.
Yes, I would agree.
And I think the biggest issues that I had with it was that, one, there were all the There were all the parts of a much better movie in here, but it seems like they just put them in the wrong order. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that this was The Rock's passion project. Because if it hadn't been, this would have just been a Justice Society movie that introduced Black Adam, and then the next movie would have been a standalone Black Adam movie. But the idea is that they were setting forth in the beginning, right when you turned to me and said, I don't know who I'm supposed to be rooting for.
I did say that. I was confused.
Right at that moment, I realized that they were juggling way too big ideas for what they needed to accomplish in this movie. Now, when I say that, I mean like there's an oppressive regime that's taking over an entire country, and the Justice Society shows up to take care of another threat while ignoring the oppression that's happening in the middle of this country, which was completely wild.
Right.
So
and they got called out on that.
Yeah, and it was good that they did, because if they didn't, I would have thought this movie was like completely missing the point.
Right. I think they were trying to do a whole what is a hero like through line of it. I saw where they were going with it, but like you said, it was way too many elements, which is why it was too long.
Yeah, it was. Oh, and this movie runs at 2 hours and 4 minutes. And you're right, it is too long.
It does not need to do all that.
Especially for a movie that at the beginning, it is a spinoff of Shazam. A lot of people don't know that. It's a spinoff of Shazam, and it should have been, and The Rock should have been introduced in the first Shazam movie, but The Rock decided that Black Adam needed his own movie. Which is wild, because even Black Panther started in a different movie. He started in Captain America: Civil War. And it was a great introduction. We all loved it, and we all came out for Black Panther. There was the lesson that they could have learned right there, because you introduce a character, we get to see him fight and in action and all this stuff, and then later on you go back and do an origin story. To try to do all of that in one movie just felt like they bit off more than they could chew.
I agree. Too much. And also, yeah, it was like origin story, like you said, origin story, Justice Society. Then the villain part of it was like, what? You know, and it's transformed into something else. Yeah.
Now that you mentioned the villain, how did you feel about the actual villain of the movie? Because for a while, the bad guys were the Justice Society. But how did you feel when the actual antagonists revealed themselves? How did you feel about that?
I wasn't into it, and I thought that, like you're saying, either it had to be either or, right? Like him and the villain, and that's it. But then, like you said, it was Justice Society was the villain, and that part was a little too much, and they had to resolve that, and then we get to the real villain. Which, as we already covered, made it longer than it had to be. So I just thought it lacked focus in that way.
Now, you did...
But I didn't really think the Justice Society was the villain.
I mean, in the beginning, they absolutely were the villain. How you gonna show up? They were the cops. They were America. They were swooping in a country that had oppression, and you ignore the oppression entirely because you're like, nah, this dude has too much power. We gotta get him.
Right, but did that make them the villains?
Yes. Yes. Up until they changed their mind, yes.
Okay. I just thought it made them like, I guess, okay, I guess. But it just felt, no. I mean, I know what they were trying to do in terms of like bring a shade of gray that not everything is just good and evil. And the Justice Society were the ones who were like, you either got to pick a side. But I don't think that made them villains per se. I think they had to do that to draw out the Black Adam character more and what he was going to be.
So if you lived in Kahndaq right now, let's say you lived in Kahndaq and you're there and you are enslaved. You're enslaved, they are controlling your movements, you can barely buy and sell. Hold on, you can barely buy and sell. And while you're there, a superhero rises up to protect you from that type of oppression from other people. And when that happens, another force of individuals show up to tell you that individual who's protecting his own neighborhood is doing something illegal. What does that make those people that just showed up? The cops?
Okay, but they're just, I mean, do you want to say that people who keep things at the status quo are villains?
Yes.
No, they're not villains.
They are.
No.
They absolutely are.
That's too harsh.
That is the truth.
I think they're just misled.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop them from being a bad guy.
No, it's like they're a neutral guy, not a bad guy.
Yeah, but if they're stopping someone if you're in someone else's way or stopping them from getting their own freedom based on your own view of the rules.
Is like just killing everybody does not necessarily mean you're free.
That's true, but they didn't do anything to actually help. After this was over, did they do anything to help Kondak? Did Hawkman do anything to help Kondak in this entire movie?
You mean after the movie? After the movie's over?
No, I'm saying in the entire film, did you ever see Hawkman be like, I'm gonna help some Kondakis?
No, there was not time for that. They left that on the floor. On the cutting room floor.
There were Cyclone helped Kondakis, Atom Smasher helped Kondakis. Hawkman did not. Hawkman was always focused on whatever the essential threat was because he thought that was more important than the people.
I don't think that he thought it was more important than the people, per se. I just think it's not a great movie, but I think it does make you, like, question, like, what is justice? What is a hero? Like, what is revenge? Like, all of those things, philosophically. That's probably not what the movie intended, though.
No, I think it did. I mean, they wouldn't have had that speech by Serra Shahi in the middle of it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, when she went off. That's true.
So I don't know. I mean, I do know. But if you don't think the Justice League the Justice Society were villains,
Justice League.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You see how easy that is. If you don't think the Justice Societies were villains, I understand. But I'm saying, like, in terms of like me watching this, just watching it. Remember the first time, I remember immediately as soon as they showed up, I'm like, they're doing the wrong thing. Who's gonna stop the Intergang? And no one did. But Black Adam.
I feel you because I was like, who am I supposed to root for?
Yeah.
But it was more because it's like, who do you root for? Do you root for the one that's like causing the obvious violence that makes you be like, yeah?
Wait, did you say causing who was the originator of the violence?
Not causing the violence, but using violence. I'm sorry, not causing violence, but using violence against the people who are causing the violence. And of course your like natural reaction is like, yeah. Or is it kind of like the tempered response?
Yeah, but so I will say this. The only person that had any response was Black Adam. The Justice Society didn't do anything to the Intergang except save them from being killed. And the only way that they were going to stop them was by killing them, by actually killing them. Because other than that, those guys were going to continue to oppress and hurt those other people. So in terms of like violence, I see what you're saying, but it's like, who's going to fight back?
I mean, I see your point as well, but I just feel like calling them villains is too harsh. But I see what you're saying. But they had to they were an antagonist, his first antagonist, before we get to the next part.
I think one of us are radical, and the other one is less radical, which is fine.
I am all for killing and everything. Well, wait. Delete that.
No. That's definitely going in the record. Get out of here. All right,
Please,
so
FBI, if you're listening.
Diana is all about killing, is what we just heard on your debut episode of Leaving the Theater. I think I understand what you're saying. I don't disagree. Because at one point, my thing is, after she says that speech, their behavior completely changes.
It had to.
Yeah.
It was like an hour and some change in. Like, let's get to it.
We gotta come on
together and like fight the power.
Yeah, fight the actual bad guy.
Right.
You are switching your analogies. Well, with that being said, I think obviously there's a lot to think about when it comes to this movie. With that, what would you give it out of 5 stars?
Well, eye candy wise, I'm giving it a 5. But movie entire wise, I'm giving it a 3.5.
Okay, so what's your final score?
A 3.5.
Okay.
Oh, the eye candy doesn't go toward the
It
5.
doesn't factor.
I'm just saying it helps like when you're looking at the screen.
Okay. I give this movie 2.99 stars.
Wow.
I think it was fine. It's almost 3. Parts of it were 3, but this is actually the second time I've seen the movie. I saw it first to prepare for Pop Culture Happy Hour, which y'all can find on the Pop Culture Happy Hour feed. And the first time I saw it, I gave it actually in my head 3 stars. This time I watched it and I realized it was a lot more boring than I thought it was. And it kind of dropped it a little bit. So I didn't exactly like this. And I don't know if I would watch it a third time. Like if somebody was like, hey, Black Adam is on, I'd be like, oh, nah, I'm good.
Oh, no,
Let's watch something else.
I wouldn't watch it again.
Oh, you wouldn't watch it again?
No.
Oh, that means your score is not 3.5.
Oh.
So Nicole Hill actually devised this system. It means that a 3 is the bare minimum to say I would watch this movie again.
Oh. Okay.
And remember, a 5 is a perfect score.
Well, actually, I wouldn't watch a lot of movies again in general. I don't know if I could use that.
I got you.
But I will split the difference maybe and say 3.25.
That's fine. You don't have to have the same score as me. If it's different, it's different.
Oh yeah, no, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But I mean, I thought it was like enjoyable.
I think you enjoyed yourself.
I was talking to the screen, so that's how I rate my movies. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, just so y'all know, she's not kidding. Diana talks to the movie in her normal voice. And yes, it's exactly what you think it is.
As opposed to what voice?
Like whispering.
Oh, is that what you meant when you say you talking in your normal
I was like, you talking in your regular voice.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, you were like, hey, yeah, y'all liking this? The movie's on. Y'all good?
I told you I talked to
Yeah,
I talked to the screen. He rolled his eyes.
Yeah, no, I looked at you. I didn't roll my eyes. I just stared at you like, oh.
Yeah, you rolled your eyes in yours.
Is that what's happening? All right, so you give it a 3.25. I give it a 2.99. And with that, Leaving the Theater is a production of Oh It's Big Ron Studios. Thomas Tyra of Bias Studios mixes the show. Thank you, Tom. Show art from Heather Wilder. Theme music from the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. For more information about Black Adam or Diana Veiga, check out our show notes. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Oh It's Big Ron. That's at OHITSBIGRON. You can find out more about this show and other Oh It's Big Ron Studios shows by following us on Instagram at Oh It's Big Ron Studios and on Twitter at Oh It's Big Ron Stew. That's STEW. Leaving the Theater will be back soon. Thanks for listening. Also, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, I had a great time.
I'm not here by myself. I'm here with...
Diana Veiga, hello.
That's not... You're too loud.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right.